Hello, all you fellow book nerds. This is Eric Werlin, and I am sitting with Tom Howe from Early Man. How you doing this morning?
I'm well, yeah. Thanks for having me.
No problem. How's your Wondercon been?
This is my first time at anything like this, so I had no idea the scale it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a small thing, and then I turned out I couldn't park. The police are everywhere, and there's a bunch of people walking around in funny costumes. So it's great.
Have you seen any costumes that you like so far?
Yeah, lots. I saw a Princess Leia downstairs. I saw somebody who was a witch with a 12-foot kind of hat, totally greened up, and yeah, pretty good, isn't it? They go all out,
Think it might inspire any future work or future music, seeing your whole experience here?
Maybe, yeah. I'm not sure doing what, but maybe, yeah.
You never know. You never know. So tell us a little bit about the working on this project. What was that like?
Well, it was great. So it came quite a last-minute sort of thing. So we had 10 weeks until we were scoring at Abbey Road. So it was a quick turnaround.
10 weeks? Man, that sounds like, I'm sure that went like that.
We did. And it's, you're at that point, you're 18 hours, 7 days a week.
So no sleeping?
Well, not a lot, no.
None. Yeah.
And I had to go, I did a co-write with Harry Gregson Williams, who did Chicken Run. And he did Flushed Away and After Christmas for Aardman as well. And he called me and said, should we do a co-write? We then sort of put together a couple of demo ideas, and then I flew over to Bristol to meet the team and visit the sets. And obviously I knew who Aardman were. They're like an English institution. But seeing them, the sets and how they put it together is just incredible, because it's frame by frame.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like second and a half of footage a day or something, and they, 5-6 years later, they have a movie. So it's a labor of love. Yeah.
Seeing the set and seeing the process, did that influence how the music was put together? Did that experience kind of work its way into the sound and the music?
Yeah, I think it's nice to get a different perspective on it, but also I think just to meet something like Aardman is one of those companies where people seem to get a job there and they never really leave. Mm-hmm. So they, it's the same people working on this that were working on Chicken Run 20 years ago. So none of them. So I think that you get a real sense of the fact that the love they all have for it, and it makes you want to do not that you're not always trying to do your best, but you get a real, definitely feeling like, well, I need to kind of step up here and do something good, Nice.
When it came to working on this particular project, did you have a lot of creative freedom when it came to the music, or was it like, hey, we need it to sound like this? Like, what was that process like coming up with the music and the sound and the tone for this project?
Well, there was quite a lot of creative freedom, actually. I think at that point they were looking for a solution to the music, and Harry and I obviously had to try and provide that. So he and I met up a lot and talked about sounds that we could try and incorporate into the score. And we knew it was going to be orchestral because we already had the studio booked, so we knew that was coming up. But we'd spent a lot of time thinking about percussion and what would it sound like if it were from that era. So we ended up sort of using a few unusual things, like we had a Turkish kumbus doubling a lot of the viola lines because it just sounded a bit kind of rustic and strange, but it was all organic, sort of no synths, or it was all...
Wow, that sounds not so much a difficult thing to do, but it just sounds so different that it would be so unlike anything else that people would listen to.
Yeah, I think it was, that was the fun bit. It's all fun, but that was kind of coming up with and trying even, we had charangos and banjos even, and things like that are all, but they're sort of slightly kind of not used in the kind of way you might think. And even a lot of the percussion is the back of a kumbus turned over and then hit like a drum, And just trying different ideas like that was very fun. Then we did some percussion and tried to find, literally picking things up and with a microphone recording them and saying, no, that doesn't quite work. What about that? What does that one sound like? Trying something else, and then getting sounds that kind of we can pepper across the whole thing, Nice. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the music, just for my own curiosity, I could be completely wrong on this. The actors and actresses who are in it, do you try to make music that would go and fit like their personalities, or how does that have any basis to it? Is there any part of that?
Well, yeah, I think in the case of this movie and hopefully in most, the casting director has, Eddie Redmayne who's obviously he was in Theory of Everything and various other things. But he, Danish girl, he has a kind of slightly reserved quality about him, you know. And I assume that that's partly why they cast him in the character of Doug in this movie, because he had the quality that they wanted Doug to. So that kind of, you know, how the actor sits in the role is obviously already semi kind of set, but you're trying to find an emotional beat for that character through the movie and take them on their journey through. So definitely you're trying to, each of these characters has, or like Tom Hiddleston's Newt or whatever, you know, he's got a very different feel to Eddie Redmayne's character. So definitely you're trying to accent those sort of differences between them and, you know, give the music kind of, each bit a kind of personality of its own, you know.
Yeah. When you're working on this project in particular or any other projects, do you pull on any experiences from your past, you know, that's happened, things that have happened to you, or like past works that you've been in, like, ooh, I really like this, kind of makes me feel like watching this makes me feel like a certain way, and back when, you know, I worked on this, I felt a certain way. Is there any like collaboration and kind of blending of different projects and the sounds, or is it always unique and different every time?
Well, that's a tricky one to answer, because I think the truth is that each time you do a project, you're trying to find a unique sound for it, and give the show an identity. But at the same time, it can't be helped that, you know, I grew up listening to certain types of music, and that will definitely impact how what it is that I write. And I will no doubt fall back on things. I like the way certain chords sound when they're in, you know, and I like the way certain melodies are. And I think over time, that's what makes composers, you know, if you play a bit of John Williams music, whether it's Star Wars or Superman or whatever, it just sounds like him, because he obviously likes to do things in a certain way. And so I think at the same time, or Thomas Newman's a great example. If Thomas Newman suddenly wrote a score that sounded like, I don't know, Stravinsky or something like that, then probably you're not going to want it, because you want it to sound like Thomas Newman.
Exactly.
So I think there's a little bit of, you want it to be original, but at the same time you're trying to put your voice into it that makes people then want to hire you because of that.
Yeah.
So it's
you've got a sound, and people, you know, it's distinctive, and you're kind of known for that sound, but at the same time, you need to make it sound original to your own sound.
Yeah. So that's challenging.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So after this project, what's next for you? You know, what do you have coming up? Do you have anything you can talk about? Or are you looking for a project? Like,
well, I'm actually doing another movie for Aardman.
Okay.
But I'm not sort of meant to talk about it too much. But that will be later. Shh. And I'm just getting into that now. But I know I have the orchestra book for November, so which is actually quite a long time for me. I'm used to doing things more crunch than that. But I've got I'm at Abbey Road in November. So
oh wow, nice.
I have to do something good by then.
So no pressure.
No pressure. Yeah.
Well, we look forward to hearing you know, the soundtrack and everything you have coming up. So thank you for taking the time. And that's Turning Another Page with JeanBookNerd.
I'm Tom Howe, composer on Early Man, and you're watching JeanBookNerd.
Perfect.